Everyone's saying that recession is coming, it's going to come, it's going to come. I mean, we're feeling the downturn. There are layoffs happening, companies have reduced their budgets, startups aren't able to raise funding. And there's this popular saying or popular sentiment that, hey, the first thing to go off the CFO's budget is advertising. So if you're a marketer in this climate, it's a hard time. And there are multiple challenges. Before I name the challenges, Tali, you want to say hello to the audience and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, 𝐬𝐻𝐞𝐵. Hi, everyone. My name is Tali Hasanov, and I'm a digital marketer with more than 16 years experience in digital space. And I worked with a number of businesses in different industries, so quite a lot of background and knowledge and experience.
Tali, how are you seeing the challenges across the landscape, across marketing, across the whole world? What are our marketers' challenges in an economy like this?
So yeah, just to second your point about marketing budget being cut the first thing when any challenges with budget happen. It's true. If it's right, I'm not sure. I think it's about evaluating the channels, marketing channels that business has at the moment, and which channels are bringing leads or sales. Because if we miss on certain points, it might be a long-term loss, right? So we might be cutting at the moment, a little bit of budget, saving something, but long term we might lose. And I have one of our clients. Similar thing happened when COVID just started, right? So nobody knew what happens, right? Everyone was cutting things. Things were closing down, and businesses were kind of didn't know what to do, right? So one of our clients actually is a custom furniture store, and stores were closed, right? And they actually we evaluated their channels, and they increased their spend budget because there was opportunity, and we are analyzing, all the channels and returns and traffic. We were able actually to bring more because other competitors also cut on budget. So they gain just short and long term because they were able to dominate, this Google search and Google presence, as well as a long term gain, right? So it's just important to understand where your business and clients coming from.
So you're saying that marketers have a tendency to, I mean, let's say we were living in 2021, which was the utopian, which was a fairy world. And are you saying that in 2021, in a glorious time like 2021, marketers had all kind of channels on, and they were experimenting too much, and they were letting the taps be on regardless of attribution, regardless of ROI? Was that happening?
So many times, and again, this is what I see from clients and from the experience. So many times, different teams take care of different channels, and it's not always looked at holistically. Now we have to look holistically as well as individual channels and see what attribution and what actually brings bottom line ROI, right? Because sometimes channels are not related, right? So one department or one team is taking care of email, which is not related to, Google search and not related to something else, right? So we need to evaluate holistically, and basically, especially in down times, we don't really have much space for mistakes. So if we cut or reallocate some budgets, we need to make sure that we cut something that is not going to affect, business performance on short or long term, right? So that's really important.
Got it. So basically run a tight ship and play conservative. It's not like what you were doing in 2021 was necessarily bad, but today you got to run a tight ship and only do things that are moving the needle. Don't experiment. Don't try to be innovative. Which marketers at heart are very creative, and they tend to experiment a little too much. Okay, so talking about channels, is there a one size fits all approach to how people can sort of figure out their channel stack? And in marketing language, it's called figuring out your marketing mix. Marketing mix is all about the sort of channels that you invest in. What is the approach? What is the right approach for someone to figure out this channel strategy in a downturn like this? Maybe we can start with B2B or B2C. How do you want to go about it?
If we speak in, and you mentioned Abhinav, B2B, B2C, it's all right and all great, but the audience might be different as well as channels, right? So if you have B2B, and we're speaking about social channels, probably LinkedIn is the channel for social media, right? While
Mm-hmm.
B2C, it might be Instagram or Facebook or whatever channel. I don't want to go specifics now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we need to build a strategy as a foundation based on some business goals and business rules, right? And based on services and products. Some businesses have a longer term, longer closing sales cycle. B2C, usually it's a shorter one. So it will be all based on the logic. And now all the Google Analytics and Google Search Console always look, analyze all the data, and especially that it's a free channel. And don't forget that July 1st, Universal Analytics goes away. We have GA4. So just to make sure that prior to this, we have all set up GA4 to track properly all the channels and all the conversions and all the traffic to the website.
Got it. Okay. Here's what I'm trying to understand. Okay, I mean, you said okay, go about it with a certain goal specific approach. I got the sort of framework, but can you help me understand this with respect to certain examples? I'm sure you run a business, your clients run a business, and I'm sure you've had these discussions in the past, in the recent past. Uh, can you help me understand this via a case study?
We can speak about, let's say, email marketing as a channel, right? So
Sure.
it's not necessarily for lead generation, but this is
Mm-hmm.
great for nurturing as well as conversions, right? So this is a case study from one of the brands that we have been working for a few years now doing email marketing. When we started, the email didn't bring any revenue at all to the business, right? So they had some list database. They were sending some random things, but unfortunately didn't bring any return, any conversions. And it also was going, all the emails were going to spam folder of recipients. So there are a lot of things that need to be optimized and done. But the good thing is that email is kind of tying all those digital marketing channels together, because you communicate with your current, previous clients as well as prospects. So we started working, we optimized the technical setup, and we were segmenting the list according to the interest. And according to the goals of the business. The goal obviously was to convert more previous and not conversional clients to become paid clients. So we saw that there was increase in interest, increase in engagement, and the business started obviously converting those clients to the paid clients. And email also a great channel because you can quite easily test and understand interests of your audience. And you can see, because SEO, for example, right, you might wait 6, 7, 8, 10 months until you see some results, right? Here in email, you just send the blast and you see, even evaluating last month's performance, what your subscribers engaging with, right? So we can do more of that.
Let's talk about Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, offline advertising. There's so many channels that eat a lot of budget. Sure, in the worst time, you could switch all of them off. But what are the trends that you're seeing across your clientele, across your peer group? That hey, how are people managing socials and search and other above the line, below the line, offline advertising, TV advertising? How are people managing these channels? What's going on?
We know that in those times, nowadays, even if it's not recession or whatever, and we bright and great, people are more educated those days, right, than compared to what it used to be, right? So educational content, it's always important, especially in the difficult times. So if you're speaking about social media channels, educate your audience, educate your prospects or even current clients. Give some tips. So again, it would depend on the industry, but education it's important. Also, I would say storytelling, right? Storytelling about the brand, storytelling about the situation of how can they help. Storytelling, it's a big part those days of all the marketing mix. People like to see stories, they like to see visuals, and when it comes together in marketing mix, it's great, right? We all know that those days it's really important visuals, video, imagery should be images obviously and video good quality, but it's important as well, right? To get in the mix of marketing channels. So if tomorrow we were in position, we say, okay, we need to cut some, budget spent on marketing for this particular client, I will know exactly where or what should be maybe rebudgeted or reallocated to do certain things, because I know exactly which channel brings visits, because visits to the website not necessarily mean conversions, right? The bottom line, we want conversion. So I know exactly where is the business coming from, and this is what important to do, especially in the downtime.
So what you're saying is, hey, of course, know where your traffic is coming from and double down on those channels, which is the very first principles approach. But something else that you said there is, hey, focus more on the content strategy. Maybe tonight, or maybe this year is not the time for direct sell, or maybe direct sell is not your direct response advertising, and direct selling is not where you should spend most of your money. You should spend most of your money on educational content. Now I'm trying to understand why this happens. Sure, it's a downturn for the entire economy. People are also averse to spending. Yes, you have, I mean, as a business you have less money, but your customers are also willing to spend less money. So I mean, I can understand that the friction is high. Friction from the customers segment is high. Are you choosing to double down on educational content because there are very few people in the bottom of the funnel and there are more people in the middle and top? I mean, more than before, and very few in the bottom, because that's when you really go about educational content. Because on the bottom it's more about, hey, I mean, in the bottom is content that makes you impulse purchase, or makes you finally decide. So why educational content?
Great question. So even without downtimes, educational content it's kind of on top, right? So if you're
Hmm.
going to YouTube, for example, which is the second largest search engine after Google, right, owned by Google,
Hmm.
most searches happen to around education, how to, and around those terms, right? Yeah, when we go into Google My Business profile, right? How important to have question and answer section. So maybe some customers asked previously certain questions that a business can answer, right? So this is also educational content. And since we spoke about Google My Business, one of the tips I would recommend it's to optimize local SEO. If the business
Hmm.
has local presence, it would be crucial, because again, we have to remember cutting at the moment some expenses. It might affect long-term gain, right? And it
Correct.
might be crucial. You mentioned that some customers as well cutting expenses, so you want to be on top of their mind. So optimizing locally for SEO, it would bring short and long term. And Google My Business, it's a great tool, and it's the first thing people see when they're searching for your business. It gives you credibility, and here education come to the game as well. So if I come from your Google My Business, I'm landing on your website, and on your website, there is a short video that you introduce yourself or how you can help, right? From
Hmm.
there, we can go to your YouTube channel. So it's actually, again, holistically a mix of things, but it's basically about building this trust. And this is important.
No, that sure does make sense. Cool. Is there any specific thing that you want the audience to know? Something that you see a lot of people going wrong with when they're figuring out their marketing mix in this economy. Sure, the biggest mistake is turning off all spends on marketing. You're just shutting the tap, and it's going to hurt you long term. You're going to die thirsty. So what else is a very common mistake that you're seeing marketers and business owners making in this economy?
So, one of the mistakes I see quite often is not targeting the right audience for their products or services. And
Who's
this
the
is
right
not
audience
just
in such an economy?
for the business, right? So their audience, for example, their target audience ideally should be 35 to 45. And their, mix that they targeting is 18 to 25. And then they surprised why there is no conversion.
But that's a very generic mistake, right? That's something people are doing even in a good economy.
In a good, yeah, I see it even in a good, but it's even more kind of dangerous in the downtime, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
because
fatal.
your dollar, every dollar you expect to get conversions when they're not there, it's even more crucial, as I
Right,
mentioned earlier, to be focused in these
right.
times, right? And just another tip I would like to give is remarketing, right? So people already visiting your website, right? So if we remarket to them through Facebook, through Google partners, it's much cheaper. It's much lower cost, but the conversions are much higher, right? So not optimizing remarketing is a mistake as well, right? So people already came to your website, maybe they forget about you, but if you remind them through remarketing, they will keep in mind, right? So that's important as well.
Got it. Get your audience right. Don't spend on
Yeah.
don't really cast a wide net. Probably narrow down on your ICP,
Mm-hmm.
and then spend more money on remarketing, because and yeah, these are
Mm-hmm.
very simple mistakes. I mean, these are mistakes
Mm-hmm.
that people have been making out for 10 years, and they
Mm-hmm.
still haven't learned getting the audience wrong and not remarketing.
That's
And
right.
these things actually hurt. I mean, they hurt a lot. They'll probably hurt you to the extent of you saying that, hey, marketing online doesn't work for me, and you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. Awesome, that's beautiful, Tali. Cool. So Tali, I think you should take the last word. Any closing thoughts?
So Abhinav, since you mentioned new technologies and everything, I'm actually surprised nobody asked anything about AI and chat GPT, but I don't want to open this to another, it's another long conversation, right?
Right.
So I think it's great tool to utilize in the marketing mix. Just be
Mhm.
careful with this, because we saw different results for some of the clients and
Mhm.
some of the businesses. So it's like with automation. Automation is great,
Mhm.
but you have to watch it. You can't run automation, on autopilot, because it's dangerous, right? So adjust your marketing mix. Again, evaluate all your goals, all your channels, what actually brings you business and brings you visits, and adjust your messaging, adjust your budget, and don't obviously cut on marketing. Just maybe reallocate for the focused, more important channels and things that brings you business.
Awesome. Cool. Lovely. That's a wrap. Goodbye, folks. See you
Bye bye.
around.
Thank you.